and welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And this week we're going to talk about the most haunted ship of the Great Lakes.
Yes. And before we get too deep into it, we would appreciate a like, follow, and subscribe on any of our socials, which you can find us at YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Instagram. The handle for all four is at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, Chronicles with an S.
All right. Well, are you ready to dive on into the haunted ship of the Great Lakes?
Yes. Is this the most haunted ship of all the Great Lakes or just...
That's what it says.
Oh, okay. So for those who don't know about the Great Lakes, there are 5 of them. They are the largest lakes in the U.S., and they are Michigan, Erie, Superior, Ontario, and Huron, right?
No. Correct.
Huron. Yeah. I know you just said them, and my brain just...
They all kind of blend together. After I get about 3 and I'm like, did I already say this one?
Yeah.
Which one am I missing?
I remember Superior because I believe Superior is the largest or the deepest.
It's one of them.
But that's the one that we live closest to.
Yeah. It's one that is a day's drive away from us. So.
And it is cold. It is so cold. That is such a cold lake.
Yeah. And by a day's drive, I mean you can do a day trip up north.
We've done it. Well, we stayed overnight, but...
my husband and I do it quite frequently in the summer with Ruby because it's beautiful for hiking. Beautiful area for hiking.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we are going to be talking about the most haunted ship of the Great Lakes. So supposedly all of them, but we're going to be mainly talking about the Duluth area, so Duluth, Minnesota. So the ship that we are going to be talking about is called William A. Irving and is currently located in Duluth. Have you heard of it?
I vaguely remember. I think you and I saw part of that when we were in the museum in Duluth.
It's the one that is in the harbor that is a museum now.
Yeah.
We didn't go and see it.
No, I think it was closed because of all the flooding at the time.
Yeah, there was. Of course, we went and it was flooded. Yeah.
We still found a place to get some drinks.
We did. It was a good time. But so the William A. Irving was built in 1938 for the U.S. Steel Great Lakes Fleet, and it was one of the largest ships on the Great Lakes at that time. The ship mostly carried iron from the mines of Minnesota to the steel mills around the Great Lakes region. Through its service, it encountered many typical challenges that ships face, like storms, collisions, and mechanical failures. One of the most notable events on this ship occurred in 1979 when it was involved with a collision with the Canadian freighter, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was part of the museum that we went to in Duluth.
Yeah, that part's sounding familiar.
Yeah. So the SS Edmund Fitzgerald sunk during a severe storm on Lake Superior, and the William A. Irving played a role in the search and rescue efforts for the survivor of the Fitzgerald crew. And that's coming back to me. That was 100% a part of the museum in Duluth.
Yeah, because didn't we see a recreation of the, was it the boiler that was in that one?
I think so. It's the museum right next to the lighthouse.
Yeah, because it had like the big giant red thing and you like saw it from multiple levels. Yeah.
So if you're around this area or you're visiting, definitely go check out that museum. I don't know what it's called, but
it's right on the lake in Duluth.
In like Canal Park, I believe.
I think so.
Right on the water, right next to the lighthouse. You will not miss it, I promise.
It was actually really cool. There's a couple of really cool museums up there, like the Grand Depot.
Yep, Grand Depot's a really good one too. Yeah.
It's enjoyable if you like to have a little bit of history.
Yeah, they're really cool. So go check them out. So the William A. Irving was retired from active service in 1978, and it was eventually converted into a museum ship and opened to the public in Duluth, Minnesota, which one day we will get back up there when it's open. Visitors have the ability to explore and learn about the history of shipping on the Great Lakes, as well as the life of the sailors who worked on it. The William A. Irving gained a reputation for being haunted, with numerous reports of paranormal activities surrounding the ship.
Okay, ghosts on a ship are scary. I can't decide if it's scarier than ghosts on a house. In a house?
I almost expect ships to be haunted. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I vibe with that one a lot more. I think actually it should probably be scarier because you're trapped on the boat with the ghost.
They can sink you.
Well, that's going to be awkward. Then you're dead right with them. And it's like, buddy,
Hey,
no.
They were lonely. They just wanted some friends.
There are other ways to make friends. There's got to be Tinder for ghosts.
Tinder for ghosts. All right.
People get ghosted on Tinder all the time. So, ergo, supernatural.
You know, you're not wrong.
Oh, horny ghosts.
Geez.
Good start. Good start.
Welcome to the Chaos Chronicles if you're new.
Par for the course here.
Yeah. Like many ships with long histories, this ship had seen its share of accidents, injuries, and deaths. Such events are said to leave behind residual energy and emotions, which some people believe contributed to hauntings. For example, going back to the sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, it claimed the lives of 29 crew members, and the emotional intensity of such events can linger and manifest as paranormal activity.
I'd believe that.
Absolutely. One of the most famous stories associated with William A. Irving involves a ghost appearance of a crewman who is often seen on the lower decks of the ship. According to legends, visitors had reported encountering a spectral figure dressed in old-fashioned sailor's attire, complete with a pea coat and cap. Witnesses described feeling an eerie chill in the air and hearing the sounds of heavy footsteps approaching, only to turn around and find that no one was there. Some believe that this ghostly sailor may be the spirit of a crew member who met a tragic end aboard the ship and has been unable to find peace. Which I feel like that's a common thread with haunted ships. It's always someone died and
it's never a peaceful death when it comes to a ship. Like, how many times is it they passed peacefully on the ship?
No, usually they get stuck in something or thrown overboard or
ganked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a host of different things. We don't like that.
No, we don't.
No, I have a healthy respect for the ocean and bodies of water, and for anyone who chooses to make their living on that. Good for you. Just don't worry about me taking your job. I will not.
No, neither of us will be. No. So another common occurrence reported by visitors is the sound of disembodied voices echoing through the empty corridors and the cabins of the ship. One story involves a group of tourists who were exploring the lower levels of the ship when they heard a faint whispering coming from the darkness ahead of them.
They turned around, right?
Of course they didn't, Connie.
Oh, goddamn white people. I'm just assuming. We walk into this supernatural stuff. My God.
So as they made their way toward the sound, the whispers grew louder and more distinct, though they couldn't make out exactly what was being said.
Turn the fuck around, turn the fuck around, turn the fuck around.
Right? I'd be out of there so fast.
Oh my God. That's why you and I don't have a mini series of exploring paranormal haunted stuff, because you and I are going to get 2 feet in there and go, absolutely not, and turn around. The rest of the podcast is us running.
Yeah. So if you ever want us to do that, we won't.
We won't.
No.
I will take a holy water shower at even the suggestion. I'm good. I don't want that juju.
We are not ghost hunters.
No.
No, thank you.
Ghost avoiders. Thank you.
Yeah. So the voice is getting louder and louder, and then it suddenly stops, which is creepier to me.
Worse. That's worse.
Yep.
That's when you turn around and someone's face is right there.
Yeah. So nothing happened after that. Some people are skeptics and they attribute this experience to the creaking of the timbers or just natural sounds of an old ship. I think that sounds a lot different than whispers.
Yeah, whispers is something else. Even with wind going through, it's different. Because I've been in old houses and old structures, like decaying structures, when wind is going through. And yeah, it sounds creepy. Not whispers, though. It's different.
Especially they were saying it was like a distinct whisper, even though they couldn't come up with the words they were saying.
Well, they distinctly should have turned around and left.
Luckily, nothing bad happened to them.
Yet, that we know of. Maybe they went home and they brought some supernatural juju bad stuff with them.
Never know.
Why would you? Why?
Why? Yeah. Another legend surrounding the William A. Irving involves the ghostly footsteps of a former captain who is said to still roam the ship's corridors. According to some accounts, visitors had reported hearing the distant sound of heavy boots pacing back and forth on the upper decks late at night, long after the ship was retired from active services. Some speculate that the phantom footsteps belong to Captain Arthur M. Anderson, a prominent figure in the ship's history who served as captain during the 1940s and 50s. Despite his passing many years ago, some believe that the captain's spirit remains aboard the William A. Irving, perhaps keeping watch over his beloved vessel for eternity.
I was about to say, did he die on it? But I guess not.
I guess not. Which, I don't know. You die and your soul finds the ship that you worked on for 20 years?
That'd be like us dying and going back to the water park. No, don't let that happen. I don't want that.
Connie, you're wishing bad juju upon us, okay?
Bye juju. That's my official. I don't know. It's in nomine patre pa. I didn't pay that much attention in church, and now I've got supernatural episodes of was that legit? Is that actually how you ward off the demon? Do we need table salt? Actually, I feel like table salt would work. Jesus does say a lot about salt, so salt of the earth. There we go. Invest in salt. I don't know. Don't do your own thing with your money.
Oh. Yeah, do not take that type of advice from us. Don't take the advice from us probably in general on most things except for red flags.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Red flags. Yeah.
And maybe occasionally we say other smart-ish things.
Yeah, there's been one or two nuggets in the Chronicles thus far.
All right. Well, hopefully a couple more to come.
Yeah.
Probably not in this episode, but
I'd be shocked.
I would be too. So another eerie tale associated with the William A. Irving revolves around its engine room.
Electrical fields. Wait, no, it wouldn't have been electrical at that point. Boiler?
Yeah, the big boilers. A place for mechanical marvels and dark mysteries. Legend has it that the ghost of a former engineer haunts this dimly lit chamber forever, bound to the machinery that he once tended to with meticulous care. Visitors who dare to venture into the engine room have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and unease, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. Someone's watching you.
Girl, when we go visit, we are not going into that room.
No, we'll skip right over it.
No, we'll send our husbands into that room if they come with on that trip.
Yeah. Have fun. Just push them in.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Some claim to have heard strange noises emanating from the depths of the machinery, including the clang of metal against metal and the hiss of steam long after the engines fell silent. Whether the ghostly engineer is merely a figment of overactive imaginations or a lingering spirit trapped in the confines of the ship's remains, a subject of debate among paranormal enthusiasts.
Oh, I don't know why, but it made me think old timey, and then it made me think of the freaking picture from the torso murders. God damn it. And which is from our other episode on the Black Dahlia. You should check it out.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, just be careful what you Google in relation to that episode, because a few of the things we talked about, Google just go ahead and they put traumatizing images before the text even. So safe searching.
Yeah, just know what could pop up before you search it. Among the many spectral apparitions rumored to haunt the William A. Irving is the ghost of a woman dressed in a flowing white gown. Witnesses have reported seeing her wandering the deck's ship late at night, her ethereal form illuminated by the pale moonlight. Some believe that she may be the spirit of a passenger who met a tragic end aboard the vessel. Oh no.
Honestly, I was just going to let that one go. I was like, it was yabba dabba doing, but you made it.
Aboard the vessel. While others speculate that she is a residual haunting, a manifestation of past events imprinted upon the fabric of the ship itself. Regardless of her origins, the Lady in White continues to be a source of fascination and fear for those who dare to explore the haunted halls of the William A. Irving. This was probably the only one that I actually knew about this ship.
Oh, the ghost woman?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that one. I don't know. Why do ghost women freak me out more than ghost men? Because ghost women, I feel like they're more vengeful. Because they usually die to worse
Typically.
stuff.
They have reasons for being there.
Yep.
They're gonna come get you.
Yeah, that's why I don't mess with the Bloody Marys, the La Lloronas, and all that other stuff. I can't say it's a double L, which is like a L, no, a Y. I don't have a good Spanish accent. I don't. I try.
Can't do it.
I try.
I don't speak Spanish.
I only know a handful of words and sentences, even though I dated a Hispanic guy, took Spanish, took Italian for years, but
yeah, the only language I ever took was ASL. Very helpful, very useful.
very helpful.
Loved
I
it.
still want to get back on that. That did help us a lot at our water park days.
Yeah, we got to talk in code and no one knew what we were doing.
It was quite entertaining.
Yes. All right, the next one. Among the most spine-chilling encounters reported abroad the William A. Irving is the sighting of a spectral figure known as the Phantom Passenger. According to the story, a group of maintenance workers was conducting repairs in the engine room late one night when they suddenly spotted a shadowy figure standing at the far end of the room. Assuming it was a fellow crew member, they called out to the figure, but it remained silent and motionless. As they approached, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving the workers bewildered and shaken. Some believe that this ghostly apparition may be the spirit of a former passenger or a crew member, again, who met their tragic fate of the ship. Although we don't know how many people actually died aboard the ship.
I'm just imagining that you're working, and I'm picturing us in the wave room at the old water park.
Oh, no.
Where you've got all the noises and the machines, and you're working, and then all of a sudden out of the corner of your eye, you're seeing someone that's not moving, not responding to you. That would have freaked me the ever-living heck out. Heck, I was freaked out enough just being in the wave room with all the noises where I'm like...
I hated it.
There's something about one of the base level noises just made your skin crawl. And I was also very paranoid because I'm like, this would be a great place to murder somebody. No one will hear you scream.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
so
morbid.
Who knows? Maybe that's what happened to this guy
That would be a good way to get rid
around.
of somebody.
Yeah.
Not that I'm condoning that, but like...
Hypothetical.
I'm not even doing the admissible in a court of... It was an effective method, not good. I'm not assigning a morality to this other than bad. saving myself in case any future employers ever look me up on the internet. Not condoning murder.
No.
I joke about stabby doesn't mean I do stabby.
No.
There's a difference.
There is a big difference.
It's called intent. We prove that in a court of law. That's when you win your case. Do. I know very little about that, but my dad had a whole seminar on intent versus evidence. No, not a professional seminar, as in I asked a question and then...
And he gave you a seminar?
Yep.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. It was a good one. It wasn't 100% related to my question, but I did take some good things out of it. So there we go.
So our next haunting tale, this is basically just all the stories of this ship. Another haunting tale associated with the William A. Irving involves the ghostly cries of a child echoing through the empty corridors of the ship.
Nope.
Which I don't know about you, but something about kids screaming when there's no kids aboard.
Screaming, giggling, crying, any of it.
Ooh, I think giggling might be the worst.
Giggling, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no. Well, this one was crying.
See, that's also worse. But I think about, and I don't remember exactly where it was, but in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, I believe there was that thing where people would try to break into other folks' home to murder, rape, or otherwise, and they would play a recording of a baby crying to mostly get young women outside, because that's they didn't hear the word, because that would get me out there if I didn't know that story. If I hear what sounds like a kid in distress, I'm popping my head out. Now I'm not.
I wouldn't, but we listen to stories. Obviously, I'm not talking about the ghost ship. I'm talking about our Black Dahlia. I'm talking about frickin' what's his nuts? Stabby.
Kara Robinson, Zodiac.
Kara Robinson. Yeah, I listened to too many of those that I'm like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, no,
not my problem. I'll call 911 for you, but that's about it.
Yep. Oh yeah, now that's what they do. They tell you call 911. Actually, several not so great individuals took the same approach, but with running water. They would play a running water recording.
Sorry, that brings me to did you ever watch Home Alone?
Yes, I have
the
a
wet
love
bandits?
for those. Yes. Was it Marv and
Harry?
Yeah.
Throwback. Oh my
I'm just
gosh.
thinking the one scene where, is it Harry or Marv, where he's walking up the tarred stairs barefoot and there's the nail.
Oh, yeah, that's Marv.
That's Marv. There we go.
That's Marv. I thought you were going to say the big spider, the tarantula on Harry's chest, and then Marv just whacks him with a crowbar. Totally missing the spider.
Yeah. Oh my god, we should rewatch those. I love those movies. I also love Joe Pesci, though, because he's the short little Italian one.
Okay. Yeah, those are good movies.
They're great.
Oh, gosh.
The Wet Bandits. Sorry, we chaosed it a bit there, but crying babies or children.
So, yep. So, according to legends, visitors exploring the lower decks of the vessel reported hearing the sounds of a child sobbing softly in the distance. Despite searching, they found no trace of any children that were aboard the ship. Some speculate that these ghostly cries might be linked to tragic incidences, such as accidental death of a young stowaway or a passenger traveling with their family.
I could see stowaways definitely being a thing.
I could see that too. I feel like it wouldn't be hard sneaking on a ship.
Back in the day, no.
Especially for one that's traveling with iron and stuff. There's a lot of coming and going, and you can easily jump on.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's tighter security nowadays just because of how much human trafficking is involved with shipping and ports.
Yeah,
but
back then,
I mean, it's still true today. That is one of the sad things about Duluth, and then the Mall of America, two big human trafficking spots in Minnesota. A lot of people don't realize until all of a sudden you're finding out all this information where it's like, oh, this wonderful place that was a wonderful childhood memory as a mall is I will never let my children go there unattended.
No, definitely not. There's quite a few places now, and I mean, also working as a paramedic, I got to see a lot of the really bad areas, and
Yeah. The really bad areas most of the time are not necessarily the ones you think they will be.
no, because even like I mean, we all have those neighborhoods that are super sketchy, but they're sketchy. You know that when you're going in versus like Mall of America, you're like, oh, this is a fun place. It's a happy place. And you don't expect it. So you let your guard down
Yeah.
versus the super sketchy place. You're going to have your guard up.
Yeah. And like, don't get us wrong, Mall of America is still good. And like, you can definitely be
Oh,
there,
yeah.
but it's always something to be aware of. And I had a college classmate who worked at one of the retail shops there. And part of her training, besides learning the job, was also how to spot human trafficking. Like, that was part of the staff training.
That's just so sad.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of things where kids would be used, which again, I'm coming back to the kids laughing, crying is the spooky, creepy, where kids would be used to draw women away. Because again, what is, if a little kid is coming up to me crying, I can't find my mommy, like, can you help me? She was just over here. If I didn't know this stuff, I would totally have fallen for that.
Yep. Nope. That's an automatic call 911. I'm not moving.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Again, we pivoted a little bit there, but creepy children crying.
Yep.
Eh.
Well, all right. I think I only have 2 more bullet points here. So, another chilling tale involves the sighting of a ghostly apparition peering out from one of the ship's portholes late at night.
No.
Just no.
No, just no. That's creepy. No.
According to the story, a security guard patrolling the exterior of the vessel spotted the figure of a woman dressed in early 20th century clothing staring out from a porthole on the lower deck. Startled, the guard approached the porthole to investigate, but the figure vanished before his eyes, leaving them shaken and unnerved.
Yeah.
Some speculate that, okay, I'm just going to stop reading the last sentence of everything. It was probably due to someone having a tragic death at the end of the show. Why did I write that? The last sentence of every single point.
I mean, it's probably the reason.
Someone who met their tragic end, unable to find peace. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm repetitive.
I mean, it's true. I can't imagine there's a lot of ghosts that died happy and peaceful. Yeah, no, I meant that sentence.
Well, are you ready for the last one?
Mm-hmm.
On certain nights, visitors to the William A. Irving claim to hear the faint strains of music drifting through the air, as if a phantom choir were singing hymns of days gone by. These spectral melodies are said to emanate from the ship's abandoned chapel.
Nope. Nope. Abandoned chapel? No, thank you.
Nope.
Not going anywhere God has abandoned. Thank you very much.
So it's a quiet sanctuary where sailors once sought out solace and spiritual guidance during their long journeys on the Great Lakes. Which these lakes are giant for those that don't.
Yeah, in case anyone's still thinking lake, like, you can see to the other side of it. You freaking can't.
Nope.
Like, we went to the observation tower in Duluth, which is a really cool place. It's just a nice little, like, climb up the tower, get to see.
Yeah.
It is lake horizon. Like,
yeah.
You don't see, it's massive.
It's absolutely giant. Like, you can't take a normal little boat.
No.
On Superior, you have to take a big boat.
Yeah, for safety reasons and like weathering the weather.
Well, it's like a lot of times I was just up there and there's white caps going. Like, they get pretty big and it gets nasty out there. So when we say lake, we're not talking little lakes. These are the Great Lakes and they're so named for a reason.
It's basically an inland ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're deep.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had plenty of shipwrecks there beyond just the one we're talking about.
Many, hundreds.
Yeah, because it's not even the Duluth harbor. Would you call it a harbor or a port?
Harbor,
I think.
Yeah.
It's not a smooth, you just come up on the lovely sandy beach.
No, it's not.
It's rocks, it's jagged. There's undercurrents that have drowned many a people.
Yeah. And I know one of the most like popular things for that area is scuba diving.
Yep, one of our old coworkers did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch has done it even.
Does not surprise me in the least.
But it's like, it's crystal clear and you can see a shipwreck. You can't go down to the shipwreck unless you have a specific diving permit.
Because it's deeper than
40 meters. It's below 40. I don't know.
It's something, because I remember our coworker talked about it, where like she said that it was actually hard to get that diving certificate.
It's very hard, yeah.
Because one, the physicality of it, and two, the mental fortitude. Where like one time she was on a dive with her dad and I think brother and then one other man, and her and her brother were going to get their certificates for this deep diving part, and so was the other guy, and her dad, I believe, was the instructor who could give the certificates. And as they were going down, the other grown man panicked and clung on to our coworker to the point where like he was pulling her oxygen and she had to kick him off, and like her dad had to swim over and pull him off because he being the stranger just snapped.
Yep. Mitch has told me that there is a lot of anxiety that comes with it, especially if you don't dive often. There's a lot of anxiety that comes with it. Oh, I will never do that in my life.
No.
I don't like open bodies of water. I don't like it. If I can't see the bottom, well, even in this case, if I can see the bottom, I still don't want to go in it.
No, even so, you can see the bottom, but you can't really see the bottom.
And even like, I mean, there's a shipwreck. What's in there? What has taken home of the shipwrecks?
Exactly.
Is it like The Little Mermaid and there's just sharks waiting for you?
Even so, I don't know if shark is the scariest thing down there. I'd be more worried about like, is there some type of freshwater octopus squid type thingy? Because those things are smart and arguably can do evil if they want.
Yeah. No one come for me. I really don't think there are sharks in the Great Lakes. Sorry.
I don't think so.
I really don't think so.
Not in that one. There's a lot of stuff in that. Well, there's freaking muskies and everything else, which are fish with teeth, by the way. And I don't mean like, oh, chomp chomp. No, I mean
a lot of teeth. Yeah.
So
there's sturgeons. If you haven't seen a sturgeon, look it up. Those things are massive. Granted, they are bottom feeders. They're pretty peaceful, but like, I don't care. They're still massive.
They're still massive. Bodies of water are where demons are.
Yeah.
Scaly, slimy demons.
Nope. I was shown Jaws at a very early age, so every body of water, no matter how small the lake may seem, it has a shark in it in my
Same. I have that with pools.
A killer shark in my head. I had to add that part. A killer shark.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Then I learned about cocaine sharks off the Florida Keys.
Have you heard about the megalodon?
I've seen the movie Meg. I haven't seen Meg 2.
You watched the movie?
Yes. I actually enjoy. I like Jason Statham though. Wait, that's who it is, right? No.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
It's not as bad as you would think. Like
Connie, it's me.
It's you. Or like, what is the one with LL Cool J? Is that Deep Ocean or Ocean Blue? That one to me is scarier.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about. I have seen that movie.
With the
I was younger.
Smart enhanced sharks. Yeah, that one's scarier to me.
The last horror flick that we watched that I am so surprised we watched was the 42 meters down or whatever it's called. I don't know. I do not know how.
Why did we watch that?
We watched it because both of us hate bodies of water.
We do.
And it's literally about and sharks, and like
it's a psychological thriller. It's awful.
Yeah, I have an irrational fear of sharks, and yet like these girls get like basically trapped at the bottom of the ocean
in a cage,
and I just
in the dark.
And then it doesn't even end happy. It ends as in like
She's been hallucinating that the other girl didn't die.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know why we watched that movie, but that was probably the worst movie I've. It was okay. It was a good movie, but like,
It was so good, it was bad.
I will never watch it again in my life.
I honestly forgot that we had watched that. The Meg is not that. Like, I handled the Meg way better than I did 47 meters down.
Probably because the megalodon doesn't exist anymore.
No,
no, don't, no.
that was kind of the whole premise on it.
No.
What you're
It's
hearing,
dead.
What you're hearing is we have a healthy fear and respect of deep bodies of water. Lake Superior, ocean, you name it. Mariana Trench, that thing terrifies me. More so than the Bermuda Triangle.
All the above.
All the above. Anyway, sorry. Back from a dog break.
Yeah, moral of the story, we don't like water. Bodies of water.
No. If anyone has their own story about not messing with bodies of water for your own reasons, whether it's a personal experience or something you know about, please share in the comments. Mostly so I can add legitimacy to why I don't like those things. I mean, both of us, really.
Mm-hmm. Or feel free to add your own irrational fear, because we all have one. We all do. Whether you want to admit it or not, we all do.
I'd say this is a rational one. We got ghosts on ships from people meeting tragic ends. I'm gonna say this water one is rational, okay?
Okay. Let us know what your fears are.
Great. If you're scared of something like milk, I'm gonna say that's irrational. I'm sorry. Let us know why, because there's got to be a reason.
Yes.
There's got to be someone who's scared of something like milk. I don't know why that popped into my brain.
Probably. There is a fear of, I don't remember what it's called. It's like people are afraid to try new foods, but it's an actual phobia.
Really? Is it like a fear of choking, getting poisoned, getting sick?
Fear. Now I have to look it up, and we're going on another tangent.
The whole series is a tangent.
Fear of eating new foods. Okay, well, as I was typing that, there was a irrational fear of eating in front of people. That might be mine.
No, I'd also say rational. You know my background on that one.
Okay. Highly fearful of new foods. It's called neophobia. Neophobia.
Phobia of the new. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's a legitimate
psychological stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. A lot of phobias come from that kind of stuff. Anyways, going back to our last point here of the Phantom Choir. We will finish this up here.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, we went on a tangent with the Phantom Choir.
Whoops.
Yep, so they're coming from the ship's abandoned chapel. That's where we went on the tangent.
There it is.
A quiet sanctuary where sailors once sought out solace and spiritual guidance during their long journeys on the Great Lakes. Some believe that the voices belong to these souls of those who perished at sea. Their harmonies echoing through the empty corridors as a haunting reminder of the ship's storied past. Others dismiss the phenomena as nothing more than a trick of the wind or settling of the aging vessel. But for those who have experienced the ghostly choir firsthand, the haunting melodies are a testament to the enduring legacy of the William A. Irving.
So now, because I like music, my dumbass over here is thinking, well, maybe we could visit the chapel for that part if we could see that.
Let us know if you guys want us to make a trip up to Duluth to go and see the William A. Irving.
Yep. We'll still bring religious stuff. We can get rosaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have one somewhere.
I know I got the hookup.
Yeah.
My coworker's mom, small woman from Mexico.
Yeah.
She's got all of the Mama Lupita stuff, which is Virgin Mary.
Mm.
Yeah. She actually... ghost story for that. So now we got ghost stories. she had talked about her having experiences where she has been someplace and she can feel that there is someone watching her, malevolence. And it's freaked me out, the stories I've heard where it's like something bad has been in a house or around a person and she's noticed it, and then afterwards the person has been sick or gotten hurt.
That's freaky.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear those stories and I'm like, okay, I want you to come to my house to double check, and also I don't know if I do.
With all love, I don't want her to come to my house.
Not yours. No, 100-year-old plus house. Yeah.
Nope. I know people have died there. I purposely did not look into the history of my house.
I wouldn't.
I have definitely legitimately heard footsteps coming from the attic before.
Oh, hell no.
And like I know people try to rationalize it. I tried to rationalize it. You got squirrels running on the roof.
Yep.
That has a distinct sound. My cat goes up there a lot. He has a distinct sound. Like you can hear his little footprints from the top. Yeah. No, like these sounded like Mitch was upstairs with big construction boots on, walking around.
So when we do the cleaning up there, I'm going to bring a cross.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah.
Bring the good juju. We're not packing up no ghosts to come with.
No.
But at the same time, we'll be doing that cleaning during the day, so we'll be good.
Yeah, and we won't be listening to podcasts on murder and...
Oh, no, we will. Shoot, we'll put on the Care Bears theme song or something.
Oh, gosh. Only good vibes.
Only good vibes. No, my personal experience with the paranormal has thankfully been very limited. But did I tell you the story of my college roommate, the one who lived up in Pine City?
No.
So she told this story to us on a night where we are alone in our college house, our old college house. It's night, it's spooky, and we're telling scary stories in the dark because we're masochists.
This is also a theme of the podcast.
And theme of the podcast. Difference was instead of tea, I think we had wine at the time, but yeah, alcohol helps.
Or make it worse.
It kind of made it worse.
I was going to say for me, it always makes it worse.
Yeah, because this is very memorable. So we're sitting around chatting, talking about ghost stories because the roommate who just did the race with Mitch, she lived in a very old farmhouse in Wisconsin. So she had her own ghost stories, but the one that I remember is my roommate living in this little city that is don't even lock your doors type of city. Like it's a town. And she was sleeping over at a friend's house and they were on the second floor and they were telling ghost stories. And so
red flag number one. And of course, I believe it was a sleepover, no parents home. So they're telling the ghost stories, and her friend tells one about, and I don't remember the details, but essentially a murder that happened relatively nearby, and how the guy why would you invite that bad juju?
They were in high school.
Okay, never mind. Okay, continue.
They were like middle school, high school age.
Forgot about that part.
Yeah, and so they're doing this sleepover, and they thought they heard somebody outside like pull up into the driveway, and they were confused because they looked out and there was nobody there, and they didn't think anything of it. Like the friend went downstairs, made sure everything was locked, everything was fine. So they keep telling stories, but they start feeling really creeped out because the friend's room overlooked outside nothingness, basically just field.
I already am getting an uneasy feeling about this.
So they keep going with the sleepover, and I think there was a couple other like weird noises they heard or things, they didn't think anything of it. So the next morning they wake up, that window that was freaking them out, there's a handprint on the outside of it.
Oh my, no.
Yeah. She told us this story when my room was in the basement. My bed was next to a window. I had to drink more so I could fall asleep. Otherwise, I was totally going to sleep in my roommate's bed with her.
I would have been like, you brought this upon me. Now you're suffering the consequences. Okay, okay.
I pretty much did. I was like, Macy, I'm sleeping with you tonight.
Yeah.
She was like, it was fine though. And I'm like, was it?
No.
I know, because I even asked, I'm like, okay, was this like one of those like wraparound porch deals? So like there's a roof for somebody to get on? And she goes, no, there's nothing. It was straight, second floor. No way someone could have been there. That handprint was not there before because she was with her friend during the day cleaning up the room for everyone to come over and do the sleepover.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that one gets
All
to
right.
me.
All right, that one freaks me out.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I was like, I hate that I'm telling this story, but I'm telling this story.
You're welcome, viewers.
You're welcome. I'm gonna have fucking nightmares.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah, didn't like that one.
no.
No.
On that note, I think I'm good.
I'm good too.
Hopefully you enjoyed our episode that was kind of just different ghost stories.
Yeah.
Mostly about a ship, a couple tangents, and then a really, really freaky one. So.
Yeah, so like and subscribe. It would be nice if we can show something for our efforts of traumatizing ourselves and not getting good sleep tonight.
No.
It'll
Okay.
be fine.
Well,
we can look up the Lord's Prayer after this.
On that note, make sure that you're following us on all of our social media platforms. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Instagram at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, and that's Chronicles with an S. Until next time, bye.
We're traumatized. Fuck, I don't even want to look at the window.